Hello, this is Jim Mitchell. We're back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast. Let's get right into it. 16-year-old dies in accident at Marjack poultry plant from WDM.com. And that is by Kage blah blah, and it's crosswords from the r/work reform subreddit. And I like what Incruente commented here. Seems like a lot of these kind of outrage stories get posted on the sub. Not too many about all the teenagers and younger people who die on the job every day in less developed nations. Simply only one supplying goods that plenty of people in developed nations use. And I said, what did I say? I said, it's Reddit. It's US-centric. It doesn't usually like dissent from its usual narratives. That's the thing. People are very, they love their comfort food narratives. They love their usual narratives. And that's something you really see on social media, I would say. Then we have, yes, actually, scientists should debate RFK from Common Sense Soapbox on YouTube, and I posted that. And I said, what did I say? Agreed, you are not entitled to other people's thoughts and opinions. That needs to be settled through debate. You can't just say everything's settled because I say so. You gotta win through debate, and if you can't win through debate, some people will believe something different than you, and that's okay as long as they're not violating the NAP. People should be able to believe whatever they want. That's my thought there. If you wanna believe whatever you want, you should be able to, but you shouldn't force your worldviews on other people. That's kind of what you see a lot of people on the right trying to push their worldviews on other people. A lot of people on the left trying to push their worldviews on other people. I think we should just all kind of keep it ourselves. That's something I think, maybe we shouldn't be trying to shove everything down other people's throats. Then we have Gary Chambers, a candidate for U.S. Senate, burns a Confederate flag in a campaign ad. Libertarian AF from Chi-Town 20, and that is a crosspost from the Hassan Piker subreddit. And yeah, I think, you should be able to burn whatever flags you want, and if you want to burn a Confederate flag, I mean, you should be able to. And, if you want to burn an American flag, I think you should be able to. If you want to burn a prime flag, I think you should be able to. And if you want to make an ad of you burning every flag, if you want any flag you want, I think you should be able to. I'm a free speech absolutist. Burn whatever you want, as long as it's your property. Tribes object, but a federal ruling approves construction of the largest lithium mine from mtpr.org, or by Frosty Slawman. And, yeah, I think, that's the thing is, it goes to show you that the government doesn't really need, the government can just pretty much justify whatever it justifies, even if the native population objects to it. In this case, it's Native Americans, but it's, as always, the United States always seems to screw those guys over the most. If you ask me, but yeah, that's just how life is. Sometimes the U.S. government can screw you over at any second, and there might be nothing you can do about it. But you gotta see, so you can stand up and say no. But even then, they'll just drag you off, I guess. So it's just. His life just isn't fair, I guess, Senator Chris Murphy wants the government to help you make friends from Reason. And I posted that. What's next? The government program to tuck people into bed at night. Also, the government's when declaring war on thing isn't good. Now they're declaring a war on loneliness. So, I don't think it should be the government's job to help you make friends. I think you should have the individual agency to do that on your own. Same with pretty much everything. You can't have the government do everything for you, but that's seemingly what the people want these days. They want the government to do everything for them. And I don't know if I think you should try and have some individual agency. And maybe I don't know. I don't want the government making my posts and comments on social media or making these podcasts. I want to do that myself. I want to express myself. I don't want a government worker to express that for me. Then we have Tucker Carlson lends credence to stolen election story. He dismisses live from Reason.com by Dr. Gonzo. Yeah, Tucker Carlson's a shill. He just wants to sell you his stuff. Just pretty much everyone's a shill these days, so that's how it is. How the barter myth harms us from Chi-Town 20, and that is a crosspost from the r/Libertarian left subreddit. And it's a video from Andrewism, and yeah, I definitely think if people want to barter, they should be able to barter. But yeah, I prefer bartering over more printed money. But yeah, I think yeah, I would agree that bartering is probably underrated, and I think I would prefer bartering to what we have currently. Then we have Intro to Libertarian Syndicism by Chi-Town 20 from another post from Libertarian left subreddit. And yeah, I think if you want to be a libertarian syndicalist, I think you should be able to. But I think if you want to consider that to be bullshit, I think you should be able to as well. We have the Libertarian Society, a translation from the French Workers' Movement from Amazon.co.uk by Chi-Town 20. I think that's okay too. If you want to have a libertarian society and we consider it from the workers movement, you should be able to. I would say, yeah. And we have the Libertarian Party, everyone, but from Kage, blah blah blah, and that is Russell from the White People Twitter subreddit, and that is when Nina Turner posted, "Insulin should be free, medicine should be free," and the Libertarian Party in Hampshire replied, "Insulin should be free is equally offensive as calling for someone to be compelled to pick crops." And then they tweeted, "Nina Turner picking crops should be free." And then Nina Turner tweeted, "This is racist and anti-black, period, and in no way is advocating for free insulin comparable to child slavery, shameful and uneducated." I personally would definitely do think the Libertarian Party in HD kind of could have used better words there, but I do agree with the general message, I would say. Uh, people people might need insulin to live, but people need food to live as well. But that doesn't mean it's free. If you think labor for anything is free, that's arguing for slavery. Labor is going to that produces value deserves money, and that's why we should be giving people. We shouldn't be justifying people just doing their for labor for free without any payment. Then we have 7 in 10 Americans support passage of pro-union, pro-act poll finds from truthout.org by Chi-Town 20. And yeah, I definitely think, yeah, I definitely would say that I personally support unions, but I don't know if we should. This union act might. I don't know if this might be overly authoritarian and benefit them too much. So we'll see how it goes, and yeah, I don't really. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. Then we have, what do you call this, capitalism from Chi-Town 20. That's a cross post from the r/work reform subreddit, and it's from the Patsy Cline official fan page at 8 Geeks, and the person tweeted, "Someone stole a 950 worth of items from Walgreens. There were 309 news stories about it. Walgreens was caught stealing 4.5 million from employees. It just got one single story." And I guess that's uh that's life for you. Sometimes those in positions of power will steal, and that's how it's gonna go. And that's the thing. The elites can steal as much as they want, but the poor people can't steal anything. Because it's pirates and emperors. It's rules for thee, not for me. I would kind of agree with Chi-Town on that. It's rule. The elites can do what they want, but the proletariat can't do what they want. Man beats up 86-year-old woman with dementia because he thought she was transgender, a product of authoritarian Christians' proliferation of anti-gender science rhetoric from Chi-Town 20. And I think, that was a crosspost from the r/Walsh V subreddit. I think, I don't think that person, if you're beating up 86-year-olds, I don't think you're probably mentally healthy to begin with, so I think that's just, yeah. I would say there. James Carville on CNN with Ad Anderson Cooper and to attack Cornel West flatly stated that Jill Stein is almost certainly an agent of the Russian government. Anderson asked for no evidence because Dems accuse all their enemies of that. From Glenn Greenwald on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, the Dems need to realize that you can't blame all your problems on Russia. Maybe try and take some responsibility. People will never take responsibility when it comes to politics, though. They'll just continue throwing names around, and that's pretty much how it's always been, and how it's always going to be, probably. Then we have Accepting Martha's Vineyard from the Red-Haired Libertarian, and that is Wall Street Journal tweeting, "Wow, are you going to sign up?" And it says Massachusetts calls residents to take border crossers into their homes, and he says, "Oh, except for Martha's Vineyard," because they had an incident a few months ago. And I said, "The elites are the masters when it comes to rules for thee, not for me." And yeah, so I think the thing is that they'll probably force that push you to have one, or maybe even force you to have one. But they don't ever have to have one because that goes against the rules, because they make the rules and they always find exemptions for themselves. Conservative and libertarians would do well to consider the critiques of capitalism from the hard left, that this is a great example of corporate depravity, where the government is not all the main corporate. For Michael Mouse, and that's from from his tweet about how they're now pushing weight loss medications for teens and children. And I said, agreed. Big government is not for me, neither are most big corporations. The thing is, everyone wants to push their stuff on you, and private corporations can be authoritarian as well, especially when they try and push their stuff on you, like, they're all the big pharma pushing all its drugs, as Mouse mentions here. So the thing is, you gotta stand up to all forms of authority, and you could argue that, and I would argue that big corporations are another branch of authority as well, especially when you're more pushed to interact with them, and when they collude with the government in their corporatist ways. Then we have the actual Libertarian Party from Dr. 07, and that is remember, from Jonathan Casey on Twitter. Remember, 1 out of 4 members of the Libertarian Party, in large part because of the bold message and demise Scholars brought into the party. Real libertarians reject racism and bigotry as irrational and repugnant. And I guess that you could make the argument, some people just like the edgelord, some people just, but that's just how life goes. Then we have the labor of others is never free, and to say it should be is endorsement of slavery from LP National on Twitter, and I posted that. And I said, agreed, though I do think the LP and H did go a little too far earlier today. I agree with the LP and H message, but I definitely think they could have improved their wording a bit. Nina Turner was advocating for people being forced to make insulin. You shouldn't be justifying using force on others for their labor. Turner said insulin should be free, all medicine should be free. How does she expect to get that medicine? Is it just going to fall from the sky? It's like food relies on the labor of others. If you say food should be free, you're therefore stating that the labor to produce it should be free, and what is that called? Slavery. So I would agree, but I do think their Libertarian Party of New Hampshire's could be, wording could have been a little better, but, they always like to get the attention, So I guess that's just kind of their plan. In case you forgot, the Department of Justice convicted a man for posting this meme. He faces 10 years in prison from Ashley St. Clair on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, it was the meme of him saying, text to vote for Hillary. Just go show that they can throw you in prison for pretty much anything. They can throw you in prison for posting memes now. And one woman did it on the left. She said, vote for Trump through text, but she didn't get punished. So, it just goes to show you that, if people have double standards, and the government will come after you if it feels you more as a threat than if you particularly say the wrong narrative. Gay interracial amputee porn being given to kids from Tim Pool on Twitter, and that is the new book from Australia that it has pictures of scissoring and what else? Anal sex, and I would say this isn't happening. It's just gone to. It's good that this is happening. No, they say first this isn't happening. They said, it's good that this is happening, and now you're a bigot for even questioning it. So that's why I think it's really the same team events every time for all this. And the thing is, you can't question it without thinking after you for it. So I just think I should be. If I want to post this, I should be able to. And if they don't like it, they're free to download, and they are downloading. But I think, it's definitely important to question why they're pushing all this sexual content at children these days. Many will insist the Mises Caucus isn't actually racist, and they just make incredibly incendiary statements to gain more attention, even more votes. I guess it's sort of halfway working from. That's across from Tri-Town. That's across from the Libertarian Unity subreddit. It says, the Libertarian Party naturally has no people in the Senate, in their state house or Senate, or U.S. Senate or U.S. House. And I said, at the very least, to get more people talking about libertarianism, and you can argue that any attention is good attention. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about, as Dr. Wilde said. So, I think, I think, the thing is you gotta, I guess, if you want to, attention, is good, I guess, sometimes it's good to get bad attention, because, that's how life is, sometimes people want attention, that's how That's generally the social media way. And, engagement is usually something that, if you want to obtain by anything that means necessary, I guess the LPNH is doing a good job. I personally think, I'm kind of getting a little tired of it. It's all the constant, kind of like Trump or AOC, rage bait tweets. But, I think, if they want to do that, that's on them. Then finally, we have having more than two options for president is the biggest threat to our survival of free people who govern ourselves, from Justin Amash on Twitter. And then he was quote tweeting Lawrence Tribe, who tweeted, free break candidates like RK Jr., Cornel West, possibly Joe Manchin, are the biggest threat to our survival as free people who govern ourselves. And I said that's how most people on social media usually sound, sadly. Yep. So that's I think we're gonna wrap it up there, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.